Welcome aboard the Ear to There podcast, the podcast that'll help you vacation like a pro in any Disney destination. For those of you standing, please sit down and hold on throughout our journey and get ready to learn how to have the time of your life. And now, here's your host, Phil Gramlich.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There podcast. I'm your host, Phil Gramlich. I am also the owner and operator of Ear to There Travel, a Disney-specialized travel agency. It's my job to take away all of that stress, all of that anxiety, and all of that time that it takes to plan a Disney trip so you can focus on the fun things like having a great time with your family and friends and enjoying the magic. You can find this podcast, my blog, or request a free, no-obligation quote over at eartotheretravel.com. This is episode number 79, and it's a special weekend edition of the podcast. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. July 14th through July 16th of 2017 was the always popular event, the D23 Expo out in Anaheim, California. I luckily had a chance to attend. Actually, I just got back from Disneyland a couple of days ago, and boy, are my arms tired. No, that's a horrible, terrible, hackneyed old joke. But you know what? It's actually still kind of funny. But anyway, I did just get back from Disneyland, where I had the opportunity to attend the expo and to be in the room for the Parks and Resorts presentation at the D23 Expo. And as I am sure you've heard or you've seen, if you followed along with me during the show, I was tweeting, I was Facebooking, I was Instagramming updates throughout that presentation. But it was a lot of information. A lot of announcements were made kind of in rapid fire, like succession. So this week I wanted to, or actually this weekend, this is a special edition of the show. I wanted to go back to last weekend and look at all of those announcements individually and break them down and give you, my awesome listener, the story, I guess, on each one and my opinion, and not only my opinion, but the opinion of a guest, because I always have guests on the show. Well, not always, but most of the time. So we're going to basically give you our impressions of the Parks and Resorts announcements at the D23 Expo. Joining me to talk all about all the changes that are coming to Walt Disney World and Disneyland is my friend and fellow apartment crasher of Walt Disney's private apartment in Disneyland. Our VIP tour guide didn't even notice it when she stole that little teacup from Walt's cabinet. Lauren Gaggioli, welcome back to the show.
Oh, you just outed me.
Dude, we had the opportunity. I know. I was actually thinking about it, and I was like, we could have probably grabbed something, but there's got to be a camera in there somewhere, right? There has to be.
I'm sure. I didn't see one. Like, they very much keep it to the period. But, yeah, I have to think they've got pretty tight security.
There was that, like behind the mirror in that clock that was behind Lillian's couch there. It had to be somewhere.
It had to be.
Because somebody's putting something in their pocket, if not.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. When we were standing there, when we were in the apartment, or before we went in, they were ushering, like, other Disney fans were getting their tours in and out. So I was wondering, like, there's a lot of people in and out of there. They got to have, I was looking for, like, the metal detector or the pat down, but they didn't do any of that.
It's a tight space, too. So with a bigger group, you could see how you could easily, it's not like the Dream Suite that has a little more square footage. You could spread out a little and you got sight lines on everyone.
Yeah, really. I was thinking this, a friend of mine mentioned to me, and he's a friend of yours as well, so you probably know who I'm talking about. He asked me if I snuck off and used the bathroom. I was like, it kind of creeped me out to be in the bathroom for a second. I was like, it's kind of weird. But then I got why she showed it to us. It was the very, like, futuristic for 1955 shower heads.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Walt loved his creature comforts.
Yeah,
it
man.
was pretty awesome to see.
He was well ahead of his time. Seriously,
Absolutely.
He really was. With that, and even with the shower.
Even in the shower. Not that we're thinking about Walt in the shower.
No, man. All right, let's stop. Let's get out of it. Let's stop talking about this.
Let's leave the bathroom now.
Yeah, really. So thank you for coming back on so soon. I think it was like 6 months between shows last time, and then it's like 2 weeks between shows this time.
Super quick turnaround. I am excited to be back.
Yeah, thank you. And I wanted to have you on because you were okay. I'm going to use I've used this quote before in the podcast, but I know you will get what I'm talking about. You were also in the room where it happened when we were out in Disneyland for the D23 Expo. So who better to have on to talk about all of the announcements than you? Because you were like, we were texting during it, like, oh my God, like the crazy things that they were announcing. Seriously, I didn't expect them to announce half of this stuff.
Yeah, it's so funny because you hear like the rumor mill is a churning before you go, and everybody's talking about all the things they're expecting to happen, and some of them come to fruition, and then other big ones that you thought were a sure thing aren't there, but then they throw in other stuff that totally makes up for it. It's not like you're missing anything. So it was a very interesting experience, and I was watching it with I was in the nosebleeds, and I was watching it with some friends, and my friends are all world people. So as the solo lander when certain things came up, I was like, oh my gosh. And for them, when other things came out, they were screaming and so excited. So it was really a very energetic experience, and something that I think, they've really laid out kind of the next, I would say, 4 or 5 years. We have a really good sense of what's coming, and I can't even wait to see what happens in 2 years when they can reveal other amazing things. And of course, in the interim, they'll be dropping little nuggets too. So it'll be exciting.
It's crazy to think. Okay, they announced all this stuff, and it's like you said, a 4 or 5 year plan, and then they're like, oh, but in 2 years we're going to announce more.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like this should be enough for us.
Right.
But it's because we as Walt said, and Disneyland, Disney World's always evolving. It can't stay the same. It's never completed. So I love this stuff. Like I love speculating on what's coming up and talking about the announcements, and it's so exciting. All right, so you and I can. All right, we got to get into it.
Yes.
So here we go.
Starting?
So let's start at Disneyland because it's your park, and because to be honest, not as many announcements were made about Disneyland. And we knew that going in. Disneyland just had so much for its 60th that, it's pretty perfect as it is right now. When you go.
I love it.
I mean, my kids got to do it for the first time last week, not even a week ago. We've been home a couple of days. And they were, my Alexa was just blown away. Blown away. Like I remember when I was explaining the parks to her, and I said, there's 2 parks. Here's how spoiled my children are. I was like, it's 2 parks. And she was like, 2 parks. I was like,
darn it.
I was like, just wait till you see it. Like, just wait.
Yeah.
And Jack and Zoe, they're 4.5. They don't really, I don't know how much they kind of grasped that it wasn't Disney World. It was something different.
Right.
Like, I know they understood the different attractions that they had never done. But I don't know how much the castle made a difference to them, or Main Street and like quaintness of it, or any of that.
Sure.
But Alexa was just blown away. But so let's start in Disneyland, and I wanted to start with something that wasn't an announcement really, but it was kind of details were revealed about it, and that's of course the new Star Wars lands on both coasts.
Yes.
That first of all, that they're going to be called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I don't know what you thought about the name. What do you think? Do you like it? Don't like it?
I think it's the perfect solution because, let's be honest, it'd be really, really hard to create the scenes from the movie in a way that was true to the movies. You can't really have a Dagobah. You can't really have the things we know as Endor and all that. So I think to say we're starting from scratch, it's characters you love in this new environment, is kind of the perfect solution. So I like it. I think it's a a good way to handle the challenges of trying to recreate the movies, but also keep us immersed in a world and wanting to discover a new chapter of that world.
Yeah, that, you know what, that's very well put. And I definitely could not have done better myself. I just, looking at the model, right? You got to go in and see the model, right?
Yeah, twice.
What? Yeah, I mean, now 2 years ago, I saw the model for Pandora at D23. This year, it was so much bigger than that model, than the Pandora one. And it was so much more detailed. Like it is crazy how big it is. And if just trying to, you know, get a scale for it, all you had to do is look at the Millennium Falcon and imagine how big that is in the films, and then see just how small of a part of that land that is. That it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be huge. 14 acres is huge.
Yeah. And
I mean,
I thought too, the way they were talking about the hangar where you're going to end up battling the Empire, you know, or you have the choice to battle the Empire, I guess. I mean, I think it's going to be, I haven't been in it because I can't write it yet, but it sounds like it's going to be similar to the queue for Flight of Passage, where it's an extension of the world and it's kind of hidden from view. So when you're considering that and going, oh my gosh, like where is all this stuff going? I don't think we're going to have any real understanding of it until we're standing in it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I'm so excited.
Yeah.
This is,
the concept
again,
art.
It's amazing. And this isn't even an announcement. It's just like, okay, here's a little more info on what's coming.
Yeah.
And they talked about, I forget the name of the Imagineer. Was it Scott Trowbridge or Trowbridge? I forget his name.
I think you're right. That it's Scott, but I can't remember his last name.
And I'm sorry, Scott, for butchering your name. It sounded something like that. But listen to the way he described it was about the getting the blue milk at the cantina, or meeting BB-8, Chewbacca, Kylo Ren, Rex from Star Tours.
Yes, Rex is back.
Yeah, he's going to be the DJ apparently at the cantina, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I love that they're building a fully immersive Star Wars land, and Rex wasn't a Star Wars character; he was a Disney creation of, you know, and he's being included in a land. That's so cool to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be great. I'm so excited about it. The two attractions, the one you'll have a secret mission on a Millennium Falcon and actually get to fly it, and the other one you're in the middle. It's the kind. It almost looks like the ride vehicle. I put pictures of them up on Facebook and on Instagram. They kind of look like almost like the Indiana Jones or the dinosaur vehicles.
Oh.
Did you see? You didn't catch the vehicles?
I didn't get a chance to see that. Yeah.
So after you left the Star Wars model room, there was like little glass, like little.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
I got distracted by the Millennium Falcon. I stood and stared at that for a little bit.
Right. So over next to that model was the model of the ride vehicle. It looks like it's going to seats about 12, if I remember correctly, and that one is going to be the one that goes through the Resistance and the First Order battle, and you are going to apparently. They are building 2 AT-ATs in each Star Wars that you're going to go through. Oh, yeah. Life-size AT-ATs that you're going to, and everybody who's listening right now who's not a Star Wars nerd is like, what is he talking about?
What is an AT-AT?
They're the big walker robot things that shoot and destroy everything in their path in the movies. Yes. There are going to be 2 of those that your vehicle is, and they're full size, that your vehicle is going to go in between during the battle.
Oh my
gosh. I picture that iconic scene from when it's like supposed to be from Luke's, I think, point of view when he flies on Hoth.
Yeah.
That's what I'm imagining. That's going to feel like. So yes, we are super nerdy. We're nerding out right now, but I'm so excited.
That'll be so amazing.
I know. So excited.
Well,
okay.
What I love about the Millennium Falcon too, which what they had talked about was the fact that, like, depending on how your mission goes, it's totally interactive. Like, you have to work as a team. you're gonna get credits or demerits. Like I don't know how it's all gonna work, but they're like, yeah, maybe you could go spend your credits in the canteen.
Yeah.
When they're telling the story and explaining how, like, there's still this disconnect, I think, for me as someone who is interested in it and wants to understand it on an intellectual level, and knowing that I just simply can't until I'm there because of this world that they're weaving.
Yeah. It's gonna be like something we've never experienced in a theme park before.
Yeah.
Harry Potter eats your heart out.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be.
I know.
Listen,
right?
Those lands are so well done. They're awesome, but this is going to be on a different level, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, like we've heard that like Pandora is kind of like a preview as far as how immersive that land is of what's to come, and it's going to be incredible. All right. So moving on, we got to move on.
We have to.
Because that should be an episode.
It's going to be at some point.
Yeah. So moving over to California Adventure, Disney California Adventure.
Yes.
A couple things are happening that are coming. The big one, I think, that's coming there was the announcement of, and really due to, I think, the success of Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which I got to ride the other day, and I was blown away. So good.
Yeah, I've heard
I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. It was awesome. So yeah, I think I put a little video. I don't know if we were allowed to take videos on the attraction, but I did.
We can. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, they're on YouTube, so it's not like I'm the only one that ever did it. But I took a little video and I put it up on my Facebook page. It's if you want to check it out. Sorry, shameless plug, Lauren. Facebook.com/ear to there Phil is where you can find that. Anyway, so the announcement was that the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be joined by Spider-Man and the Avengers in California Adventure, which is going to kind of be an immersive, big superhero, Marvel superhero section of the park, which I, for one, and after seeing Guardians, and I'm just super excited about that. I love the Marvel characters. I love the Avengers. Love Spider-Man. Actually, my fantastic wife, not only does she have the kids out right now so I can record this podcast, she also told me to go buy a ticket for myself to Spider-Man Homecoming, which I haven't seen. And I'm going to see that. I'm going to see that tonight.
Nice. Awesome. I felt like I was the only nerd left in the world.
You haven't seen it yet?
Who hadn't seen it. Yeah.
You should go tonight.
I should. Maybe I will.
Yeah. Listen,
actually.
I just talked into it. I'm dying to see it. So anyway, so Spider-Man Avengers are coming. They didn't really announce exactly what it's going to be, what kind of land, what it will be taking over, although I think we can all kind of guess what's going to get the axe over there.
Poor little Bugs Land.
I know.
Goodbye. That's not an official announcement, by the way.
No, it's not official.
It
but
does. The story of Hollywood does not make sense if you go the other direction, because it would be like Spider-Man, Avengers, Frozen, the musical, and Guardians. Like, you have to go the other direction.
That's exactly right. Yeah, they put a lot of money into that Frozen show. I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
So yeah, you're going the other way, and I'd hate to say it, but yeah, I think the bugs are on their way out. There's a lot of room, especially with the theater there, where you can put the Marvel attractions. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think you're right about that. But my kids, by the way, loved Bugs Land.
I love it too. I mean,
yeah, it's really cute for kids. There's the water play areas that my kids loved, and there's we don't do Tough to Be a Bug on either coast because it scares the pants off them. But
Hopper is frightening.
Yeah, he's a scary dude. Yes,
he's terrifying. So,
but Kevin Spacey's voice on a frightening grasshopper, and yeah, you got me.
Yeah, no
completely.
Thanks.
So what do you think? Spider-Man Avengers, are you excited for them to come to the park?
I am. I'm curious to know what form they'll take. I'm assuming thrill rides. Like, I'm expecting that there might be another coaster potentially. Maybe indoors. Maybe, I've always thought they missed the mark on not doing a rock and roller coaster out on this coast because it is Hollywood. Like, you are right by the 5 and the 405. The whole premise of that ride seemed like it would make a lot of sense. And when they put in Tower and didn't put that in, I was like, well, I don't get it. Why not? Because they have so much space in Hollywood now with the sound stages that used to be Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I think they shut down Muppets. There's a lot of room back there. I feel like they need to do something with it. That said, in Monsters Inc., oh god, it's cute, but it's kind of sad. But going the other direction, I kind of think they have a big footprint that they can work with. I think it'll just be interesting to see what they decide to do with it and how they decide to bring these stories to life.
Yeah, I would love a roller coaster. I think the Spider-Man, I don't know if Spider-Man is the better roller coaster, or here's what I always thought. I think you need an Iron Man roller coaster that has the voice of Paul Bettany narrating it as you're flying through the air. That's what I would be
amazing.
That's exactly like, what's it? Is it Jervis or Jarvis? I always get that wrong.
Yeah.
Jarvis. With that, with the speakers. Yeah. With the speakers telling you as Iron Man on the roller coaster, turn left, turn right, missile, or that kind of thing. You can just fly it through the air. I think that would be really cool.
With the new development of like the reactionary kind of ride, where you have a say in the outcome over at the Millennium Falcon, if they'll bring something like that, I think that's a fantastic idea. But they could do it, sometimes, Iron Man doesn't really listen to his pal.
That's true.
and things go wrong. It would be really cool if that they did some sort of simulation that way. I don't know. With Flights of Passage, which again, I haven't been able to ride due to pregnancy. Oh, so sad and happy all at the same time. But I've heard
that was like the greatest.
Incredible.
That was so well done.
I understand the mechanics behind it,
Yes.
And I just can't without seeing it. So
I'm sorry. I just laughed just because you all at once called your unborn child awful and then fantastic.
This year to get pregnant was not well timed with Guardians and Pandora. Like, I'm missing out on all this stuff for like the next 9 months. Everybody's
you're gonna be telling her that for her entire life.
I am. I'm gonna hold it over her.
All right, so
poor kid.
Yeah, right. So okay, what else is coming to California Adventure? We have Paradise Pier is becoming Pixar Pier.
Yes.
Next summer. It's the one, if you don't know where that is, it's over by the World of Color Lagoon there. And it's, from what I understand, basically just an overhaul. And I didn't get if it was temporary or if it's permanent. Did you?
I think it's permanent.
I really couldn't. So it's gonna be permanent then. Well, says Lauren, and it's gonna have characters from The Incredibles, Inside Out, Toy Story, that kind of stuff. That's cool. I'm fine with that. It's not a huge change, really.
I think it's gonna be mostly overlays.
Yeah.
But the thing that I think is hysterical about this is we just 2 weeks ago were talking about how that area's story has so many issues.
Yep.
And 2 weeks later, Lasseter's like, "Hey, we're gonna fix that for you."
Yeah, that's really funny. We did just say that.
Yeah.
We were just saying, that with Toy Story Mania and moving along down the line. Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah.
So John Lasseter was very excited when I saw that. Yeah, when he's doing that, that they're doing that. So he actually got on stage. He moved from the seat that he had right next to me.
Yes.
Not really right next to me.
He was for just a few moments ago.
He was actually a few rows in front of me, but I got to sit close to John Lasseter. It was cool. So that's happening. And then Pixar Fest, which is like a Pixar celebration in 2018. It's going to include new fireworks, special character meet and greets, and the Pixar Play Parade is coming back to the resort.
I love the Play Parade.
And you were getting back Pink Tonight.
I know.
Bummed
with a new float.
I know, which bummed us Walt Disney World.
I know.
People out because I was really, really, really hoping that Magic Kingdom was getting that parade.
Did you get to see it?
I did. Like 2 years ago, I got to see it. That's the best best nighttime parade I've ever seen.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
awesome.
honestly, I might even say best parade. Like,
yeah. You're probably right. Yeah. I think
love it.
The what is it? Festival of Fantasy is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the music from the song from Wreck-It Ralph, the floats, the characters, everything. Just when I saw that, and then I saw Disneyland Forever too. I saw it my first night out there for D23 2 years ago, and then I went back every night because it was that good.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I'm not going to have a night go by where I don't see this thing because it was incredible. So I'm very happy for you.
Like my favorite thing ever.
I love that part.
When there are two shows, I stay for both, and that I'm not a parade girl. Like, I really am not. I love it. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, what I was most excited about. But what I think is interesting is by saying, okay, we're going to put more Pixar into Disneyland or into California Adventure. I think it's the Paradise Pier Hotel. I think that could become the Pixar Pier Hotel. I think it opens the door for maybe a Run Disney race that's 100% Pixar because the Disneyland race this year is Pixar. I think it really opens the door for a lot more expansion out here with that playfulness, that connection to Hollywood and the studios here. I think it just really I think there's a lot more behind this announcement than they shared. I feel like it's going to start as an overlay around the pier area, but they have some dead space where like the Maliboomer used to be. They've got all those games on the boardwalk that, I don't know, could become something else. I feel like there's a lot of room to play with and a lot of things that could go away, like the Zephyr. Nobody likes the Zephyr, like I think we
didn't even ride it. My kids didn't even want to ride it. They were like, I asked them, there was no line. There never is.
No.
And I asked them if they wanted to ride it, and they were like, no. We rode Jumpin' Jellyfish twice, but didn't ride a Zephyr once.
Wow.
So that'll Jumpin' Jellyfish is actually pretty good.
It is kind of fun, right?
Yeah. And if you're a 6-year-old or a 4-year-old, that's basically Tower of Terror.
There you go.
So yeah, so it was great.
But you can handle.
Yeah. We couldn't get Alexa on Guardians. I asked, and she's ridden Tower a bunch, but she just wasn't feeling it, and I wasn't going to push it because I don't need a miserable older child the entire trip. No way. So I think you're right about that. I think Paradise Pier doesn't really make sense to be the Paradise Pier Hotel any longer when there's no Paradise Pier.
Right.
So yeah, I would be super excited about that. To be honest, I've never stayed at that resort. Mostly because of the distance from the parks.
Yeah.
I like to walk, and I like Disneyland Hotel in Grand California. I've stayed at both of those. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that would be cool. And I'd be way up for a Pixar themed race. That would get me out there to do a race. I was looking at the race schedule for Run Disney, and they haven't announced the dates for Tinkerbell yet, and I'm wondering if maybe they're not going to announce it and it's going to be something else.
Well, and there's been a lot of speculation about Lightside maybe going away, which would suck because I have not done the Kessel Run yet, and I need that medal.
I haven't either. I've done the Dark Side.
Yeah, we've done Lightside. So together we've Kesseled.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll give us the medal for that.
I know, just a half a medal. He's going to get half. Like, do you remember they used to be able to do the relay in Walt Disney World? The Chip and Dale marathon relay, and each person would get like the half medal.
How
it was
cute.
designed that way. Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, that's
they only did it 1 year. I think it was 2012 was the only year they did the marathon relay where it's just what it sounds like. One person runs a half marathon and another person runs a half marathon. But the one person that runs second half got to cross the finish line.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, you want that second half.
Yeah.
I mean,
you want to be the anchor.
Line. Running down that chute is like the greatest feeling in the world. It really is. All right. Enough about our nerdy running and Star Wars. Well, we're going to talk more Star Wars, obviously. Let's get to Walt Disney World. Let's start with the transportation that's coming to Walt Disney.
Very soon. Already?
Well, I already started.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the one that already started is the mini van service. Now, when I say mini van, I mean Minnie the character, but it is also a minivan. It's a little confusing.
They're so smart.
I think it's really well done. I think they're Honda Odysseys that are, I think they're, the one they had on display at the expo was pink, but the ones I've seen pictures of in Walt Disney World are red. They're red with white polka dots. It's basically, we've heard this rumored for a while. It's basically Disney's version of Uber.
Yeah.
And they will, it's a, you know, they're going to have an app that will pick you up. The Disney cast member will pick you up from anywhere on Walt Disney World property and take you anywhere else on Walt Disney World property for $20 per ride. So you can fit, I think you can fit up to 7, if it's not a modified Honda Odyssey, you can fit 7 passengers in, in that van at a time.
Right.
Which is that's a pretty good rate. I think
Yeah.
for $20, I'd do that.
I mean, I Ubered through World last time I was there, and it was cheaper than that. But, you had to wait a little longer, potentially. And, I think the idea of the mini van is one that the Disney experience will be there. There's going to be – Uber's a little bit of like, you're rolling the dice.
Yeah.
So, you never know who you're going to get.
That's exactly right.
I've happened to be very fortunate with my Uber drivers, knock on wood, but I've heard horror stories as well. So I think, that kind of level of service that they can provide with that, I think it's a great addition for those who do not want to wait for the bus system. And I think that's going to be the issue, though, is there's going to be a glut of people wanting to use it when it's, after the fireworks or after illuminations and it's time to go home. Like, are we using it as an alternative to the buses? Well, if so, there's a lot of people who have that idea. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I didn't realize last time I was there that from Disney Springs, you cannot get to parks. You can only get to resorts. So I think, people who have that realization when they're on property and go, okay, well, this doesn't go from X to Y, but I can have this alternative and it's still the Disney experience. I think that's pretty awesome, especially in those non-peak hours.
I agree. And I think that's where it's going to really help you too. Like I know you've had this conversation when you're on a trip to Walt Disney World, because I have, where I'm like, okay, I'm staying at, wherever, Beach Club, and I have a reservation at Ohana, but I can't take one bus from Beach Club to Ohana.
Yeah.
I have to take one bus from Beach Club to a park, and then from a park to Ohana. It doubles at least your transportation time.
Yeah.
So to have the opportunity, and we would call a cab or use Uber, but now you could have, just use the minivan service, and they will have car seats for kids, which is awesome. So, so people who think that, all right, well, I'm out because I need a car seat, you don't need to bring your own car seat.
Yeah. So
that's really, really cool. I'm excited about it. I know when I'm down in November, I'll definitely give it a try.
Absolutely.
Because, I have to let my peeps know
it's research,
what I think. Of course. It's a write-off. Right there, right off. No, I'm only kidding, tax people. No, actually, it should be a write-off.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and that's not tax advice because I know nothing.
No, I don't either. Amy and I have an accountant. I don't even do my own taxes. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. There's just way too much stuff going on.
I know, right?
Running your own business and income and money that you're spending on advertising. Yeah. I don't want to handle any of that. I literally record it in a notebook, save the receipts, and at the end of the year, give them my account. Like, here you go. Figure this out. That's all we pay you.
Easier that way.
It really is. All right. The other part of the Disney transportation that they announced was, again, one that we've heard rumored for a long time, to the point where it was kind of spoiled, I think, because there are certain websites that were blogs that wait at the Reedy Creek office waiting for these things to be approved for the construction projects, and that's all public knowledge. So the Disney Skyliner is currently being built already, and it is the gondolas that we've heard so much about. This one I am really excited about. They kind of look like the old Skyway buckets.
Yeah.
I was really excited that they look like that. They're going to have Disney characters on them, which is really cool. They have like the Hitchhiking Ghost and Mickey and Minnie. I'm sure they'll have Star Wars, of course. So yeah, and it's going to connect, let's see, Hollywood Studios to Art of Animation, Pop Century, Caribbean Beach, and another resort that we're going to talk about. Well, I'll just talk about it now. This is two announcements in one. Was Disney announced its 15th Disney Vacation Club resort, the Disney Riviera Resort, which we basically know nothing about, except that it's going to be near Epcot, have a rooftop restaurant and offer great views of the fireworks. But the Skyliner will connect that new Vacation Club resort as well to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. I'm excited. I'm really excited about that.
I think it's going to be so fun. Obviously, I think about getting stuck up there in a lightning storm in Florida and the air conditioning going out, but there's some logistical things that I'm like, I wonder how they're going to account for all this. But,
I know. I worry about that too.
Yeah. But I mean, the idea of, I miss the sky buckets. They were so much fun. And I'm just so glad they're bringing them back in some form. So it'll be, and I think it makes those resorts that are far out much more reasonable, I would say. Between, now we don't have to take buses there. We can hop in the buckets. I think, that'll be fun.
And Disney's listening to the guests, I think. Like, they hear you that nobody really wants to wait in line for a bus at the end of like you said, after the fireworks. That's a pain. It is.
Oh, it
and
stinks.
When people have to wait, like, listen, you know me, I'm not the guy. I love Disney like more than anybody, but I'm not rah Disney's great all the time. That part of it stinks.
Yeah.
Like that's why we literally with my kids, we will watch the fireworks only if we're at a resort where we can monorail it or walk back. We don't. Yeah. If I'm staying at Port Orleans Riverside, we don't stay for the fireworks at all.
Yeah.
Because it's really difficult to get the bus back after.
Yeah.
And people are tired and they're hot and they're cranky and it's just not a fun experience. So I'm glad Disney's listening to that. And they're like, all right, well, now you have this option. You have the minivan service. You have the Skyliner, the monorail, there's boat transportation. They're listening to us, and I love that. And I love that they're doing that, so I'm excited.
And I think, the Skyliner, if this first phase works well, it has the potential to be expanded as well. So I like that they're doing it further south, and then they can kind of push it north if they want to. How cool would it be to take one of those to Animal Kingdom? I mean, Animal Kingdom's so far out there.
I know. We're so spoiled. We're like, come on, gotta ride the bus to Animal Kingdom now.
I know, right? It's like
like a 20-minute ride.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it is. But I completely agree with you because it does. It's so much further than any of the other parks, and it feels like such a haul going out there. Mm-hmm. Especially when, again, say you have reservations somewhere, you have to allot for that time coming from, if you're either at the park or staying at the lodge, it takes a long time to get somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. I would love to see it there. Oh, man. They could figure out a way to put it, like, through the park or over the park somehow. Yes. It wouldn't really fit the theme, I guess, but.
Yeah.
Well, have you heard? Sorry, this is a complete rumor. There's the Zootopia land coming to the Animal Kingdom rumor.
Where Rafiki is, right?
Yeah, so that's the rumor right now. So
not announced. Not announced.
No.
But...
This was not announced at all. No. This is just seriously a rumor that I just saw since I've been back from Disneyland, and I was thinking you right there, right? Because Zootopia has the city of Zootopia.
Yeah.
And it's very modern and futuristic looking, and which that was I completely contradicted myself in the same sentence, modern and futuristic. But You know what I mean? It has that sleek.
It's not Africa or India.
Exactly. It has that sleek city look that you could slip a gondola into, and it would fit in. It would fit in with that land, I think.
It would be kind of cool if that was like the monorail at Disneyland, where it's a different entrance that you swipe your ticket before you get on, and that's the way you enter Animal Kingdom.
I'm writing this down. Hold on a second. I'm going to write this down.
Who do we send this idea to?
We know somebody. I've talked to this friend that I have who sits in on Imagineering meetings like once a month, and I give him ideas all the time, and he's like, you know that I can't take that to Disney, right? And I'm like, I know you will. I'm going to see that happen. Yeah. That's what I said about the Iron Man roller coaster when they were talking about Summer of Heroes coming to California Adventure. I said, he was like, yeah, they're updating some attractions and they're doing some things with Avengers and with the Marvel characters. I was like, bring that up to the Imagineering, and he was like, I can't do that. I was like, come on, like they'll do it. They want to do it.
It's a good idea. I
don't need the credit. I just need to know that it was my idea. Anyway, all right. So Skyliner's coming. Very super excited about that. We mentioned the Riviera Resort. All right. So let's talk about what's coming to Magic Kingdom.
Alrighty.
So first thing that they mentioned that they kind of glossed over, it was really quick, is the new live theater, entertainment theater coming to Main Street, or coming to right off Main Street. It's going to be based on the Willis Theater from Kansas City in the 1920s, where Walt Disney lived after he and his family left Marceline, Missouri. No real details on what's going to be in the show, what this theater will hold or anything. But I can't from the concept art figure out where the heck it's going to be. Do you have any idea? Did you get any idea on where it'll be exactly?
The sense that I had was that it could go on the right-hand side if you're facing the castle, kind of where like Tony's is. You could oust Tony's and put it in there. I heard that there's a little bit more space kind of backstage, but I don't know why you'd create such a big and beautiful thing that would not be featured somewhere, a big beautiful facade. So I think there's like another exit that I've never used, but they've started to open up and use like after the fireworks.
Yeah, it feels like a lot like that, like the bypass in Disneyland. Actually, that's kind of what that's what it's like. I've been through there, and that's what it's like. It's like that. It's like there is room. There's plenty of room back behind the right hand side of Main Street when you're, like you said, when you're looking toward the castle. And you're right.
I mean, it feels like the Hyperion, like in terms of scale. Like it looks like they'll have a fly space, so they could do some really big, bold productions. So I wonder if now that they have Frozen, if they'll put Frozen there. Everybody's gaga for Beauty and the Beast now, so they've got that in development for the cruise lines, so they could put that there. I don't know. Disney's so funny about how I say funny. It's I think a good thing. They are very protective of their properties, even within their own property. Like they want to make things special for each park and for each entity that they have. So I don't know what show could possibly go there, if they'll put a new one into development or if they'll I guess reuse something that they already have. But if they're putting this much towards the actual creation of a new theater space, I sort of think that it might get its own very special show, which would be, if it's Tangled, I will lose my mind.
Oh man, that would be cool.
That would be incredible, right? So,
they need a Tangled show. That's long overdue.
Yeah.
Long overdue.
I mean, she has a bathroom. Come on, guys.
I know, it's true. And listen, it's one of the most, I think, underrated Disney movies in years. The music is phenomenal.
Oh, it's so good.
It's such a good show. I mean, what other show has spun off a cartoon series with the original acting, like voice cast?
It's crazy.
I don't know. Has that ever happened?
I don't
think it has. So yeah, that's it. That's a really cool idea. The one thing about it that I hope they don't do is mess with the scale on Main Street. I don't want this out of like proportion building.
Good point.
There, kind of messing up my views. I know I don't own that place, but we feel like we do because we're there.
Yeah, when you say welcome home, that means I have some ownership. So.
Exactly right. So yeah, that's all I'm hoping for. But I'd be excited about the theater as long as it doesn't, I'm fine with things changing. I just don't want it to mess with the integrity of Main Street USA. Exactly. So that's kind of how I feel. All right. So, okay. Another thing coming to Magic Kingdom. This was a big one too.
Yes.
Big announcement. Got a huge applause from the crowd during the presentation. And it's the announcement that the Tron Light Cycle coaster is coming to Magic Kingdom in a brand new area over near Space Mountain. So it's not going to, in the concept art, the Speedway, Tomorrowland Speedway, is in the drawing with the Tron coaster. So it's not replacing anything that we already have, except maybe for that building, the arcade building that's over by Spaceship Earth that nobody really, I don't think, would mind if we lost that. That seems like, I don't know if that's still there in the concept art or not. But that seems like that it kind of goes over in that area. I am excited for that. I've never been on that attraction, obviously. I have seen it on YouTube, and it is really cool. It's a really cool roller coaster. It's totally fits the idea of Tomorrowland. And I'm hoping that with it comes a kind of revitalization of that land. It needs it.
Yeah, it needs some love.
Yeah, it needs some sprucing up a bit. It's because really there's no theme there anymore. It's got characters from, first of all, and here's a big thing for me. We'll talk about it in a minute. Tell me what you think about Tron, and then I'll get to my annoying thing that didn't happen.
I am so excited. I don't have to go to Shanghai to ride this ride. I was gonna go to Shanghai to ride this ride, but I'm excited it'll come and I can experience it over and over, with more regularity because I've heard it's just incredible. I'm excited that it'll be here in the States. The only thing that I have heard, and I don't know that it's true, but I've heard that it's on the other side of the railroad tracks.
Interesting.
I don't know that that's the case. I don't know if maybe it'll like the building will straddle maybe in some way.
Because it looks like it does that in Shanghai. It's like almost like a horseshoe shaped. It's a weird shaped building.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, again, I think until we get an aerial view, we can see exactly where things are going. We won't really know. I'm okay riding outside of the railroad tracks, but if I have to walk out and I'm aware that I'm leaving, the circle that Walt built, which obviously is going to be an issue for Star Wars as well, I think that'll change things a little bit. So, that's something that's been such and again, not for the ride, actual the buildings that the rides are housed in, but the sense that you don't know that you're leaving is important to me. So,
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
I just hope that they keep that intact because I was shocked when I saw Speedway still there. I was like, really?
Whoa. Yeah, I know. Me too. I was the same way.
That's fine.
I'm like, this is what you're going to do, huh? All right, we're keeping it. It's going to smell like gas still.
I know, right?
It does.
I feel like, I think we talked about this before. Autopia, it's the original, it's something that Walt put in World. It just doesn't quite fit. It's definitely not Tomorrow.
No.
Nor is it fantasy. So it's sort of like, why is this here? So I think it'll be interesting to see how they manage that and what they do update along with it, because I think you're right. It is so due for some love.
Lauren, you know what? You know why Tomorrowland Speedway is there? No. So my children and your future child can drive us nuts and make us take them on it again and again and again.
Yeah.
That's what, just like Dumbo. That's why it's there. Those are the two reasons. But
if it was not there, then it would save parents. So I feel like Disney's doing us a disservice.
I agree. It's time to start I'm going to start collecting signatures online.
Right?
See how many I can get rid of that thing.
It's the opposite of a toad-in.
It is, yeah.
It's a speedway
out. Oh, we both said it.
Hey, James.
That was that was okay. We hung out way too often.
Clearly, our wavelengths have synced.
Something's going on. All right, so the one thing that drove me crazy about Magic Kingdom that they didn't announce that I was waiting for is the replacement for Stitch's Great Escape.
Yes.
That didn't happen. I was shocked. I really was. Yeah. I thought for sure that Wreck-It Ralph or something was going into that space. And especially with the new Wreck-It Ralph movie coming out.
Yeah.
Now, it still might, but they didn't announce it. Last week I was surprised. Really surprised by that. But it's seasonal still, and you can't always ride it, so whatever. Stitch is like the attraction that just won't die.
Yep. Yeah.
So, all right. So let's talk about really quickly. One thing that I wanted to mention that isn't in the parks is Disney Cruise Line. We knew that we were getting. There are 4 ships now. The rumor was there were 2 more being built, and then Bob Chapek the other day announced, "Oh no, not just 2, 3 new ships, bringing the total to 7 Disney cruise ships." To me, that's a pretty crazy, that's a big deal.
They're nearly doubling their fleet. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, and listen, I don't know. Have you been on the Disney cruise?
I've never done a Disney cruise. I have cruised, but not Disney.
So there's nothing like it. Yeah. Like I've done the regular, I've done Carnival and a couple other ones, and again, all kidding aside, I book any cruise line, people. So contact me for any cruise. It doesn't have to be Disney. I can book anything. But the Disney cruise experience is unbelievable. It's the best service I've ever had, hands down. It's amazing. Go when your daughter's old enough to enjoy the kids clubs, and you'll never, your daughter who has not been born, and you'll never see because she'll be in the kids club the entire time. My kids, I felt guilty because they were in, I said to Amy, I swear, we were in the Irish pub on the Disney Wonder. And I said to Amy, should we go get the kids? And she's like, yeah, let's go get them. So we went to get them. We carried our tropical drink with us, went to the kids club, and they said, or no, it wasn't a tropical drink. I'm lying. It was an Irish beer.
I was going to say, what are you doing in an Irish bar getting a tropical
drink?
Yeah,
no. I did get the tropical drinks in the ship, but it wasn't that. Went to the kids club, and the kids wear little magic bands when they're in there, so the cast members always know where they are, which is super cool. It's all on computer.
It's amazing.
So we went and we get and you can't. What I loved about the kids club is they have those those airport style security doors with glass that kind of swing up. They have those, so you can't get in there unless you scan your card ID. And normally they just go get your kid for you. I love that nobody has access to the kids other than the cast members that are trained to take care of the kids. I love that. And it's so secure. It's so safe. I was worried about that before, but it was fantastic. But anyway, sorry. We go to pick up the kids and they're they're at a story time right now. And I said, all right, no big deal. We do story times all the time. And she said, no, Cinderella is reading them a story. And I was like, okay, well, we can't compete with that. So they stayed in the kids club, and it was just awesome. So yeah, the service, everything that they do on those ships is amazing. So I'm really excited they're adding 3. It just means that I have to go see all 3 new ones.
Exactly.
Really is all it means.
I mean, you've got a lot of cruising in your future. That's what's happening. Yep. I was really excited about that announcement, even though I haven't done a Disney cruise, because I know it's in our future. But the thing that I was kind of disappointed on is we didn't get names. I really wanted to know what they're going to name them.
I did too. Yeah, I wanted to know the names too. That's what. It was funny. As soon as I mentioned the ships to Amy, the 3 ships, she said, "Oh, what are the names?" I was like, "Dude, they didn't say it."
Right? They could rebrand the whole fleet as dwarves now, though. So I think that's kind of cool.
Wait, say that again. They did what?
They could rebrand the whole. Sleepy, Dopey, Doc, Sneezy, and get them all out there. I'm cruising the Sneezy.
Dude, that would be awesome. that you walk in and instead of that Ariel statue, it'd just be a big dock.
Yeah.
Like,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm on the dock. All right. So that was what's going on a cruise line. Let's go back to what do we have to do? Okay. Let's talk about Disney's Hollywood Studios next. And the big, because we'll save Epcot for last because that was the one that kind of everybody was waiting for.
Yes.
So Hollywood Studios, the big announcement there, besides the Star Wars Land stuff that we already kind of talked about when we're talking about Disneyland, is the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is coming to Hollywood Studios. Now, Bob Chapek called it a game changer, which I don't know exactly what that means. But they're calling it a 2.5D attraction. I know we know a few things. We know it's going to be a trackless ride. So it's like the Haunted Mansion, the version of the Haunted Mansion that whatchamacallit has.
Was it Paris?
It might be Paris, yeah. Or the Ratatouille attraction in Paris as well. There's no track. They're kind of they look like they move freely through the attraction. Something I was blown away by the Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters is they're just those cars just kind of driving around. I couldn't figure out how they worked. But anyway, you ride in a railway car that features the attraction features the Disney short versions of Mickey Mouse, Minnie, Goofy, and it's going to be inside the Chinese Theater, which means the Great Movie Ride is going away.
I feel like it should be renamed the Not So Great Movie Ride at this point. Like, oh my gosh, I went on my last trip and I regretted it.
It's not what it was. No, it's just not. It's a poor version of what it used to be.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they did that to lessen the kind of the blow when they got rid of it.
Maybe.
Like, it wasn't that good anyway anymore. I loved that attraction back in the day.
Yes.
I very, very, very briefly worked at Movie Ride.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't last very long there. I didn't get fired or anything. I just moved over to Star Tours.
There you go.
But they had no use for me there after a couple of days. But I learned the script and I was really super excited to work there and never really got a chance to be with guests on that ride. But I'm really sad to see it go. But like you said, the version of it that we have now is a very scaled down, not as good version of the ride. So I'm interested in this one. I honestly don't know what to expect, you know?
I think you could hear the air kind of go out of the room. This was one of the first things, and you could tell that the guys on stage, I forget their names, the Bob Chapek. I don't know how to say it.
Chapek, sorry. Chapek. Yeah, Chapek. Yeah.
And the gentleman who's the, I guess, lead on the development as well, you know, you could see they were really trying to be super excited. Everyone's kind of going, okay.
Yeah, I know.
It felt like as anticlimactic as they could possibly have led with. I think that is one of the first things they announced. But
yeah, it was.
The thing that I liked was when he showed the video of the 2.5D and how the room just totally flipped and changed, and it felt like you were inside a cartoon. You could see sort of where they're going with it a little bit. I think it's probably so early in development that they just didn't have a ton to share with us, which might be why some of the other things we were expecting to hear about didn't get announced, because it was a little underwhelming. But at the same time, it's the first attraction featuring Mickey exclusively.
Yeah, which is very cool.
Yeah, as the lead. So I think it'll be fun. I think it's a perfect fit for an attraction that's in one of the weenies. You know, I think if you don't have a Mickey attraction, to put it right dead center is probably the place you should debut it. And it so needs love. So yeah. I hope that they'll tie it into the Hollywood side of things. Since it will, I didn't get the sense that they're going to change the elevation of Mann's Theater. that like the outside will remain the same.
Yeah, that's from what I've heard. They're not gonna change that at all. Hopefully,
I mean, they have so much space in there, so
they do.
They can do some really cool stuff. I'm gonna miss all the costumes and things. I always love the queue because
me too.
All of the vintage wardrobes and things and props and whatnot. So I loved that aspect of the ride probably the most, to be honest. But I'm sure they'll do something incredible with it. I just think might have been a little bit premature to announce it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. It was a little underwhelming. By the way, some of my favorite props that they've had in that queue, they had the ruby slippers for a while. Mm-hmm. They had the Star Wars chess board from Millennium Falcon. They had Mary Poppins' horse from Mary Poppins.
So cool.
All kinds of cool stuff in there. Yeah, over the years.
I remember seeing one of Scarlett's dresses from Gone with the Wind. I want to say
very cool.
The red one.
That's cool.
Like so gorgeous. Yeah. Ugh. So
I mean, I'll take your word for it that it was a gorgeous dress.
Right.
But
you don't look at that stuff.
What's funny is like the ruby slippers definitely stood out to me.
Absolutely.
And I remember that. But do you remember after you would get off the Backlot Studio tour, and they had the Hollywood Showcase there?
Yes.
And all the stuff from like at one point it was Star Wars, so they had the original Darth Vader costume and models from the Death Star and and all that kind of stuff. And then they had then it was based on whatever movie had just come out. So they had stuff from Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe there, the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
Do you remember? By the way, this is such a nerdy thing, but do you remember the Saturday Night Live Chronicles of Narnia song?
Yes.
With Chris Parnell and Andy Samberg.
Yes.
We love Chronic. What cool's in Narnia?
Yeah.
That was the greatest. Oh my God. I watched that video so many times. It was so funny.
That's funny.
But anyway, yeah. So, it was a little underwhelming again. I'm hoping, like you said, it was just because they didn't have a whole lot to show us. They did promise us a theme song that you'll never get out of your head. So,
which yay. When you say it like that, guys.
yeah, that's true. All right. So now, last thing, Hollywood Studios is the announcement that Toy Story Land is scheduled to open summer of 2018. I was excited about that.
I'm blown away.
Yeah, I did not. Looking at the land now, I'm like, I feel like it was like Disneyland in 1954. Like, you look at the aerial shot and you say, there's just no way they're getting that done.
Yeah. Well, they almost didn't, so.
Yeah, Disneyland, I mean, they were making decisions on plumbing at the end, at the 0 hour.
Just those minor things like where the water
plumbing
is
and asphalt
come from.
How you're going to walk down the street.
Yeah.
Like we've heard the story of like women getting their heels stuck in asphalt, by the way.
Yeah.
Obviously no one knew what to expect in 1955 because there were women wearing high heels to Disneyland.
That's how you theme parked,
Yeah, I guess so. Suits and this and man,
so embarrassed by us today.
Oh, I'm so lucky I live in this era. Not, I would have stuck out like a sore thumb. Have you seen that picture of the time traveling hipster? Did you ever see that guy?
No.
There's when we get off the podcast.
Hysterical.
When we get off the podcast, Google time traveling hipster.
Okay.
Because it looks like it's like this picture of like the 1940s, and there's this guy in a t-shirt with like a flannel shirt over it, like a graphic t-shirt, sunglasses, and it looks like he's on a cell phone. And it's a true undoctored picture from like the 40s.
Really?
Here it looks it's so convincing, and they've explained it. I've read it explained on what you're actually looking at. Like his shirt was a popular type of undershirt of that era. The shirt that he had over it wasn't actually a flannel shirt. It was some other kind of shirt. He wasn't using a cell phone. He was using some hearing device, and his sunglasses. You got to just look at it and you'll laugh your butt off.
Funny. Oh my gosh.
Really
okay. I'm going to look it up.
Anyway, that's what I would look like if I was at Disneyland on opening day. I'm like, hey guys.
Yeah.
I'm showing up in my Mickey Mouse t-shirt, my shorts, my flip-flops. I don't think I wouldn't have fit in there.
Not allowed.
Oh. All right. So Toy Story Land, though, is opening in 2018. That is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait because I know we'll be there. Probably not over the summer because we tend to go a little when it's a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it. I'm really I think it's going to be really cool to see what they do with the new entrance to Toy Story Mania and the Slinky roller coaster and all that stuff. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all right,
it's going to be cool.
Sorry, Lauren, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
there.
no, you're fine.
All right, so let's get to Epcot. This is the one that kind of we all had heard the rumors about and what was coming and what wasn't and what was going away. So let's start off with the one that I thought was the weakest announcement at Epcot, and it's the updated film in the China Pavilion. I think the idea of it is cool. I think the next generation digital camera, seamless circle vision, is very cool. I was hoping for something bigger coming to China.
I think the technology is the announcement there, and then going, okay, then what are they going to do with that? Yeah,
right.
It's a little, and it's odd to me that China's the one that they're keeping the film in.
You would think France, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they didn't announce they were getting rid of that film, though. They did. Yeah, they said that we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So anyway, yeah, your opinion.
Yeah,
so your opinion on the China Pavilion, kind of like mine. Like, all right, that's fine. Yeah, I expected. I didn't expect a roller coaster to be going in there, but I expected something different.
Yeah.
So new film, fine. It'll be something that I see once and probably skip
the rest
on most trips with my kids. Yeah,
unless it's super hot, and then
then it's a nice 20-minute break.
Want to go see a 20-minute film we can nap through?
Yeah.
Epcot, the napping park.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. These changes are going to make that not the park where you go to rest or
exactly.
See. All right, so another one, Mission Space, is getting an updated orange mission, and a brand new green mission. The Earth is going to be the new green mission at Mission Space is going to be a tour around Earth, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to take. It looks like small, children will be able to go on.
Yeah.
So that's pretty big. That's a pretty big deal.
They said they wanted a more family-friendly mission. So
yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not one that does Mission Space every time I'm in the park. But when I do ride it, I'm that crazy person that keeps my eyes straight ahead, like a maniac, and I won't even look to talk to somebody for a second because I'm afraid I'm going to get sick.
Yeah.
The warnings are everywhere, so I'm like, I'm going to listen. I'm not. So I'll be on with Amy won't ride. That's a lie. I would be on with my dad or my brother or something, and they would say something to me. I'd be like, "Don't talk to me. I'm looking straight ahead," like they said in the show.
I've got my blinders on.
Yeah, Gary Sinise told me to look straight ahead. That's what I'm going to do.
Seriously, I haven't been on it. I think the last time I went on it, I was like 14. Like I don't do it. I can't. It's too much.
It's too much of a risk to get. I think Disney took a big gamble by putting that in the park. I think it's a good idea to change it up to get people back to it.
Yes.
Because I think the longest line you ever see for that is like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like seriously, it's never a long wait. I think they took a big gamble and they missed a bit on that one.
Yeah.
But the other Mission Space kind of themed thing they're putting in there is Space, which is a new restaurant, a table service restaurant that they're opening adjacent to the attraction, where apparently we as guests or diners or whatever you want to say are going to eat in space. That sounds kind of cool to me.
I think that is brilliant because when you think about the front half of the park, dining is not something that comes to mind.
No.
You go to World Showcase, you go to your Tepanito or what is it, Napoli or whatever. Like you go to your particular food venue of choice that is tied to a different part of the world. This is something I'm curious to see what the menu will be, but it sounded really intriguing in that like the entire time you're there, you've gone to space and you're looking at space views while you're eating. So I think that otherworldly experience is going to be really intriguing in and of itself. So I'm excited to have something kind of higher end, it sounds like, in the front of the park.
Would it be messed up if you sat down and they just brought you astronaut ice cream?
That would be really messed up, actually. Yeah.
If you just
dehydrated foods.
It's a tinfoil packet. You have to tear it open and just sit there and eat it in front of it. Yeah, that would be very depressing.
If they made it zero gravity and it also floated, that would be cool. But yeah,
I'd be in.
Otherwise,
on that. Yeah,
give me something real.
They probably have to put you in a centrifuge for that, though. Again, and we'd both be out.
Yeah,
so
no, thank you.
Yeah, but I'm excited about it. I know. I think it's going to be fun. I imagine it like, what's that movie that I watched? The Martian with Matt Damon. I imagine it with like that, like the spaceship and that, the giant shuttle that they're on in that film. I picture it looking like that for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just in my head. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. All right, and there's two more big ones at Epcot. We'll start with, let's start with this one. Ratatouille. How do you say it? Ratatouille or Ratatouille? Ratatouille. Okay.
That's how I say it.
I get mixed up on how to say things sometimes, and that one is one that I'm always like, I have to ask Amy if I'm saying it correctly. So the Ratatouille attraction that is in Paris is coming to Epcot to what I heard, and maybe you may have heard something wrong or something wrong. What's wrong with me? You might have. I meant to say you might have heard something different and it might be wrong, but I just said you're wrong without even letting you say what.
I didn't say anything.
No, you're wrong. I don't care what you say. What I heard them say was that it's going to be in a new building next to the Eiffel Tower. Am I crazy or is that?
You heard it right, which I'm thinking about. I'm like, if they take out that bakery, I am going to be so sad. So it's got to be somewhere else, right?
Right. I think they just said it. I don't know. That's how they said it. So I was curious as to where it's going to be. I
wonder if you get to it from the like from the left, like kind of between France and is it Morocco that's next?
Yeah, sure. You could put an entrance back there.
But then you miss the ambiance of like walking through the middle of Paris to get there. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I hope they don't mess with any of the food in order to get us there. Because that would just be like insult to injury. You can go on this ride about food, but you
can't enjoy France's food anymore. Yeah,
right. But we're taking out this thing that you love. So that might be my favorite pavilion, just for like picking up little snacky foods. So
yeah, I like it during the Food and Wine Festival too. They had escargot there.
All the butter.
It's awesome,
right? Butter, garlic, puff pastry. Well, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's exactly what I want to eat when it's 100 degrees and 90% humidity. But
that's true.
You roll with it.
And then you smell like garlic the rest of the day. That's awesome.
I know. Not for everyone around you, but like you're happy. So
yeah, exactly. You know what's really funny is my pre-long run or my pre-marathon meal that I've eaten ever since my first half marathon in 2012 is linguine with clams.
Oh, yum.
And I love that dish, and I think it's a great
sauce or white sauce.
I go white, but it's garlic.
Yeah,
a lot of garlic,
parsley,
and I remember one time after a half marathon, my mom, the kids were little, and my mom was helping Amy with the kids, and I walked in the door. And my mom goes, "Oh my God, you smell like garlic!" And I was like, "Oh no!"
It preceded you.
Yeah, like I smelled like that the whole race because it was coming out of my pores. I smelled. I wonder how many people felt sick running next to me.
I bet you inspired so many people to run faster that day. So
sure,
a lot of PRs around you, Phil.
Oh man, that's bad. But I continue to do it because it's my kind of like my good luck charm. So
we have our rituals, right?
That's right. So
absolutely.
All right, so this attraction is going to be cool. I don't know if you've seen the queue from Paris, or if you've been. Have you been to Paris? I haven't been there. I
have not. I had a friend, so I was sitting next to a friend who just got back from Europe, and he had gone to Disneyland Paris, and he said that Ratatouille was amazing, and he's really excited that they're bringing it. So yeah, that was as much detail as I got from him.
Cool. Yeah. Well, the cue of it is walking through the streets of Paris at night. So, and you see Gusteau's restaurant in the one room of the queue. So I think if they kind of incorporated the same type of queue, and then you did enter from that, in between the two pavilions, you wouldn't lose a lot of that French, kind of France feel, because you're walking like the streets of Paris under the moonlight. That's pretty neat. Yes. So I'd be into that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so Ratatouille is coming. All you bloggers who kept flooding my my Facebook feed that kept saying that you were right. Yeah, you're right. We get it. You're correct. But I'm excited about it. So my kids, I know, will be excited about it.
Oh, absolutely.
And now they just need to find a way to have the Remy character in the park somewhere, offering children food that they would never try at home, because I think that is the perfect way to do it.
Absolutely.
Because my kids are picky eaters, but if Remy was there and was like, hey, try this cheese or try this whatever, my kids would try it because they would listen to Remy. They don't listen to me, but they would listen to him. So that's what they need to do. They need like a little presentation where Remy gets picky eaters to eat more interesting foods than Kraft mac and cheese.
I love that idea. I think that's incredible. And I think, Remy's a great way to do it. I mean, ratatouille itself is a very healthy dish. It's squash and zucchini and good stuff like that. So I think
exactly why I've never had
it. It's pretty good.
I like vegetables. I'm not an anti-vegetable guy, but if I'm at a restaurant and I see ratatouille and I see a steak, I'm going steak every time.
Well, yeah, you don't want it as your main. No.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Good. Okay, I didn't realize it was a side dish. All right.
Well, I would eat it as a side, I guess. Yeah. I'm sure somebody eats it as main dish.
Whereas pregnant Lauren, it's like appetizer, dessert, wherever it would fit.
We're doing 9-course meals all day, every day.
Do you have the weird cravings, or is that already over with?
No, I mean, I want sweets more, and so that kind of stinks. But other than that, it's not like I have to have this one thing. My mom used to eat blocks of cream cheese when she was pregnant with me. So
I can't even taste of cream cheese.
Yeah,
not a cream cheese guy. That's Amy didn't really have it either. She went through 2 not full pregnancies. She went one 7.5 month pregnancy and one 7-month pregnancy. So she wasn't pregnant for long.
Little baby.
Yeah, we had tiny 3-pound children. All right. So last one at Epcot is, and this is I thought the biggest announcement of Epcot. And another one that we saw coming was Ellen's Energy Adventure is staying. And no, I'm kidding. Of course I'm kidding.
Everybody just went, what?
Ellen is getting a refurbishment. We're bringing in new Ellen animatronics. No, we're not. That's not.
That would be so cool.
Wouldn't that have been funny if that was the announcement? Hey guys, Ellen's staying. And remember the guy that used to be the DJ on the show, the British guy? He's coming in the show too.
Yeah.
That. But no. So Ellen's Energy Adventure, the original Universe of Energy, is closing in August. So if you want to see it, get there in the next month. Less than a month, actually. I think it's August.
It's the 13th, right?
Yeah.
And that's when Great Movie Ride shuts down too, right?
Yeah. I know. I'm never going to see that one again. That kind of bums me out. But the attraction will be replaced by, not replaced. I think they're going to rip the whole thing out. They're going to demolish the whole building is the rumor. And Guardians of the Galaxy, an e-ticket attraction, is going to be built in that spot, in that space where Universe of Energy stands now, or once stood. What do you think? Are excited? Not excited?
So my love of Guardians is wrestling with my love of Future World as a place to learn, and the concept art looked like the building stayed the same. Obviously, that could not be the case. I'm a little worried, to be completely honest. Not because I don't think they're going to come up with an incredible attraction. It's absolutely not that. The placement of that attraction kind of worries me. They said that the backstory, they had a picture of Peter Quill as a kid in front of, he came to Epcot was sort of the premise, and that's where the story is going to spin from. So I don't know. As a kid, I always looked forward to going to Epcot because of, I love World Showcase, but also because of the learning opportunities that were available in Future World. And even if it is something exciting and like Mission Space, or it's something intriguing like Test Track, or it's something really slow but very educational like The Land, there's always something that teaches us and takes us beyond. And so I'm just not sure that if you're saying it's an e-ticket Guardians attraction, that's also going to be educational. Could be. Disney's very good at surprising us with these things, but I am a little concerned about the placement. I think as a standalone attraction, it's probably going to be incredible. I would expect nothing less from them after the way they did, you know, what's out here and the reviews it's getting. But I'm a little concerned about the integrity and what it means for the future of Epcot, because we're taking yet another. It's already not the way Walt envisioned it. It seems like we're taking another step away from that vision.
So I totally get what you're saying. I totally agree. And the way he announced it, the way they made the announcement was like, okay, we understand that we want Epcot to be that educational park still. So Peter Quill went to Epcot. Like that, to me, it didn't say education. It was just like,
right.
Okay, so there's a tie-in. Great. And I love that it seemed like a picture of Chris Pratt in Epcot, which is super cool. And it's fun that that's going to be weaved into the story, but that doesn't tell me that I'm going to learn something.
Right.
And I think you're right with the fact that it is going to be an e-ticket. You know, it's going to be a thrill ride. So they're going to, I don't know what they're going to do. You're losing, like, from the concept art of what Epcot's going to look like, what Future World's going to look like, you're losing pretty much everything that's there in that plaza area right behind Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
Like, I think the fountain will stay the same. Beside that, I didn't see a lot of the buildings that we know being there. Like, there was no interventions was gone.
Yeah.
And that's already gone, really. But from both the buildings weren't in the picture. It was completely different. There was a lot of look like other fountains and like topiaries and that kind of thing. So I just wonder what it's going to be like. And they didn't mention removing the what do you call them? The Leave a Legacy tombstones,
which I think everybody was expecting to go away at some point.
And we all heard new entrance plaza, new entrance for Epcot.
Right.
And we didn't hear that either. So, yeah, I think you're right when you said earlier that there's a lot of stuff that they didn't mention because it was kind of underwhelming. I think those changes are still going to happen. They just didn't bring them up. I want to be super excited about Guardians like I was excited when they announced they were changing Tower of Terror at DCA because it wasn't anywhere near as good as the Florida version.
Oh, no.
So I want to be excited like I was for that, but I kind of share your kind of apprehension. I want to know that it's still going to have that experimental prototype community of tomorrow feel, and I don't know that it will. So yeah, I agree with you, man. I'm a little skeptical, but I guess we'll see. Only time's going to tell, and we'll have to figure it out.
And they could absolutely surprise us and make it both. I think that that's a possibility. You know, I don't begrudge them the challenge of trying to make. It's the same issue with Tomorrowland. Like, the second they've developed something, technology is moving so fast that it's outdated. But I think that there's a way to create an attraction that has the flexibility that you can update scenes or update the information in a way that allows the ride to be continually evolving without completely recreating an attraction.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The thing that came to mind, I hadn't thought about this, but all those dinosaurs that are very similar to the scene that we have in our on our railroad out here the Grand Canyon that I forget what it's exactly called, but between Tomorrowland and Main Street Station.
Yeah, Primeval World, right?
There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the Tron Light Cycles bridges in Tomorrowland spans over the railroad, they could introduce that out there because they already have the animatronics. Like,
that's a good
say
idea.
the Light Cycles like bridge and go out, like the actual ride building, then they could introduce that, and then there's air conditioning on the railroad.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I hope Imagineers listen to this.
Cool. That
would be like, listen, I know Imagineers can't take ideas that if we present them to them, but they can get them from a podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe that would, if they're listening, that would be an awesome idea.
If anybody
I would
knows,
love that.
Forward this along.
Yeah. Somebody.
Seed. Air conditioning on the railroad is
not a bad idea at all.
I
like
so nice.
Yeah, I like it a lot. All right, so let's talk about the last one. What I thought was the biggest surprise that it was announced during the parks and resorts, especially during the resorts part of the expo, was the super cool sounding immersive Star Wars themed resort that is now confirmed to be coming to Walt Disney World.
So cool.
When I heard him say it, I was like, well, when he first said, we've been surveying guests at Hollywood Studios for several months. When he said that, I was like, no. And then when he's like, and they love the idea, I was like, no way. Like
you knew what was coming.
Yeah, and the whole crowd was like,
yeah,
like
you could hear it.
Like it was this gasp of like, really? Like this is real? Because people have been mentioning it, have been bloggers and nerd podcasters like myself have been talking about it, but I honestly didn't think we were going to get that announcement at all. So when it came out,
and in the form that they did it, like,
yeah,
this is insane.
Yeah, insane is the perfect word. Like I have friends kind of in high places in the parks. They, and lots of times they'll float a rumor by me, or they'll, say this is what we're hearing, or I heard none of that. Like I was shocked.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, man, I am so excited for it. I don't care how much it costs. I know the first thing people started saying, like, oh, it's going to be, you have those people always that they're not people like me, who are like, I'm just like, here's my wallet. Experience. Yeah, exactly. I'll pay for experiences, not for things.
Yeah.
I don't need the fancy schmancy car. I want to stay in the Star Wars hotel. So here's my bank account number. Do with it what you have to, and let me spend my 2 nights at the resort. I can't.
Yeah. So so the actor in me is like, yes, I get to play a character. Like, this sounds incredible. The logical person in me goes, how on earth are they going to do this? Because it sounds, I mean, like you said, Phil, it's an immersive experience, but it sounds like a land cruise. Like,
yeah,
you are, for lack of a better word, trapped. It's a trap in this hotel with the windows. All of the windows look out onto Star Wars. Basically there are no windows in this building. It all paints a picture of a different world. So you are transported to this completely new place. You wear costumes. It sounds like D23, actually. It's like cosplay, like high level of nerdery, like experiential, reactive storylines, or like those murder mystery games that you play with friends where you all assume a character and you have to figure out who committed the murder. It's like all of that, but then Star Wars. And you're right by the land, which I wonder if that's part of the experience, some sort of seamless transportation from the hotel into the park where, what you do on the Millennium Falcon affects what happens in your hotel room when you're back there. Like,
that's so exciting.
Who knows where this thing goes?
I want a high speed like train like type, but a space shuttle. Like that's what I want. To underground that takes me from my hotel room or my hotel to Star Wars Land.
Yes.
Like did you see that thing that Elon Musk just announced that they're coming up with this crazy train system that can go from New York to DC in 29 minutes?
What?
Yeah. This was just announced yesterday.
I don't know that we're supposed to travel that fast.
750
your atoms and molecules just start falling apart at some point.
So he announced that he's gotten government approval to build this thing. It goes 750 miles per hour underground in a vacuum tube.
So I had heard about one
true technology
that was like LA to San Francisco that he was talking about doing, but I think it was above ground. So that is insane. Yeah,
this is I think they're going to start. He's gotten approval to start construction. So they've been doing these tests with these. Anyway, it's 750 miles an hour under the ground, New York to DC in 29 minutes. So, dude, that's going to end. And Philadelphia is going to be a stop. So I can get to New York in like 15 minutes. I'm crazy. I am in, man. It's like, you know what that would do for commuting? Holy cow!
Do it once at least, right?
Yeah, it's going to be $1 million to ride it, aren't they?
Sure.
But, But I mean, yeah, I'm a travel agent, right? I should be able to get a free preview of that thing.
I think so. I think you should start getting Elon about that.
It would take you like 6 seconds to get in between the park and
it's as close as we're going to get to light speed, I think.
Oh, dude, perfect.
In our world.
That's what they need. You get in a little vacuum tube and it goes and there's light speed effects in front of your eyes. Perfect. Done. That's what they need to get in between the two things.
All I'm thinking of is like those pneumatic tubes at the bank that like
that's what it looks like.
They pack you in like a pod.
Yeah, it's like and it just sucks right up.
Augustus Gloop from Charlotte.
Yeah.
Factory. Oh man.
So that's what they need. That's what they're going to need to get his back.
Absolutely. Otherwise, we are not staying there.
Yeah, right.
If we cannot travel at light speed.
I will walk in my Jedi robes in 100-degree weather.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, dude, they'll make the walkway like Tatooine between the two. You got to walk across the desert. There, they won't have to do much. Just throw some sand down.
Seriously, yeah.
But
a little more humid than the desert, maybe.
What's that? I'm sorry.
It's a little more humid than the desert, perhaps.
Yeah, it really is. Listen. When I say take my money now, I'm not really kidding. I'm ready for that. As soon as I heard that it was announced, your mind starts going crazy. You're like, what can they do? The one thing that you mentioned that freaks me out a bit is the no windows kind of thing.
Yeah, no windows and no doors. Well, there might be doors. I'm sure there are doors.
There has to be a door. And I imagine it's the like that you push the button and it's like it opens up. Like on the ships and
I hope they have the ones from the Death Star that that go into a square. Like they have the different panels that come down and close. That would be awesome.
That would like cut you in half if you stood.
Yeah, don't try and dive through those. Don't Indiana Jones it.
I was gonna say don't let Harrison Ford come because he'll crushed his leg in one of those Star Wars. But yeah, so I that's what I imagine it would be like. I don't like the no window thing. I hope eventually they come to their senses and there's like a button you can hit that switches your window to like a real window so you can look outside. But I imagine they probably won't because like they really want to keep it totally immersive.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'll pay to stay there. I will. I'll do it once or twice or every trip. Because if it's really going to be that you're a character in Star Wars while you're there, like you said, you don't know how to do it, but I want to feel that. I really do.
I feel like this is the kind of vacation that you get a couple of people that you know or a couple of families that you know to go together to experience it because it like I said, it seems like a cruise in that like you have these two very incredibly immersive days. You're telling a story. Everybody's in on it. Nobody can sit out. So, I don't know that you go watch the fireworks at Magic Kingdom when you're like, I think this is the vacation. And so I think it'll change the way people do Disney, I think. My concern is the repeatability. I'm not sure how many people will go multiple times, because I think the price point has to be pretty significant. And
yeah, from what we've heard in the rumors, it seems very, very high.
What are you what are you hearing? Do you
I heard
have a price point on it?
Yeah, well, just what we've heard, $1,000 a person for 2 nights. Yeah, so $500 a night.
Does that include food?
Yeah, food meals are included.
Okay. So, I mean, they could charge a lot more, I guess.
That's just what I've heard. I have no idea if that's confirmed or not. That's what's been out there.
When it goes over budget, and it's then
yeah, then we're gonna have to start paying for it. Oh man.
Yeah, there's gonna be like occupancy kind of rates. So like when you look at it and then you think about like staying a night at beach and yacht, like, well, peak season at beach and yacht versus going and doing this immersive thing. I think people will be willing to pay for it. But I'm not sure they're going to go back multiple times.
No, you might be right on that. I remember you, and I'm not. Please don't think I'm singling you out, but you're the only one I'm talking to. I remember you saying kind of the same thing about Pandora. Like, I don't know if it's going to draw repeat visitors. And I remember when your voice was in my head when I first walked into that land, and I was like, I got to tell Lauren, she's crazy. Like, this is like, I can't wait to get back there.
I'm definitely a skeptic, like at first, just because they put so much money. I'm a little bit of like a hedge my bets kind of girl, but like, I don't want to see Disney have a big fat flop, like that would hurt my soul. So I always am like hesitant to be like, yes, this is incredible until I see it. And I agree with you. Pandora's pretty amazing.
It's awesome. You were the one that, here's what happened. Let me guess what happened to young Lauren waiting in line at Disneyland to get in to ride Rocket Rods for the first time. So excited. And then what happened?
So it was my birthday. Actually, this is a true story, Phil.
No way.
It was my birthday. It rained. We waited for 3 hours to ride Rocket Rods. It broke down twice while we were in line.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was Rocket Rods. That's so funny. And
I cannot believe I just guessed that.
You totally called it. By the way, they need to bring back the People Mover.
Joking. I was just joking around with you. I really didn't think that.
I know. We've never talked about that. But yes, I got burned by Rocket Rods real bad.
And then
it hurts.
Now you're a Disney skeptic for the rest of your life. No,
I love it,
not.
But
Obviously,
there's always
you're
that
very
reservation.
That's crazy to me. All right.
That's so funny.
Something I didn't know. And
You're
that's so cool to learn that. I am. I'm going to start. Now I have a new business to start.
There you go.
Bill's psychic. I can only do it with Disney attractions, though.
Yes.
So it's not going to be much of a market, but
it's very niche.
Anyway, Lauren, dude, this was awesome, and thank you so much for. I'm more excited now about this stuff than I was before we started talking because this. I hope people can hear it. We're such like fans and we're such nerds, and I mean that, of course, affectionately. I don't mean it in a bad, negative way. I think nerds now kind of rule the world.
Yeah, who run the world?
We are cool now. Like, we are cool. I heard like Chris Hardwick talk about it, and he did stand-up comic, and who I love. Oh yeah. Who talked about when he was a kid, nerds were put in the lockers and were made fun of, and now nerds get the supermodels and we're running the world. Like that's what has happened. That we're such a kind of a tech-driven, society now that's kind of who the superheroes are. So yeah, I'm the Disney nerd in me is so excited about all this stuff and about just how much Walt Disney World and Disneyland are going to change and what cool things are coming. And man, the 2021, 2022 trips are going to be unbelievably cool.
Yeah.
They really are. So, and like you said earlier, 2 years, we're going to hear more stuff.
I was just going to say, D23 2019, be there because.
I will. I'll definitely be there.
Stuff coming out.
Yes. Oh, imagine that. Imagine what the Star Wars hotel stuff is going to be at that point.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get actual, mock-ups of the rooms and what, like we were saying, the transportation. And it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah. D23 in 2019, get there, be there. I'm sure you'll be there. I know I'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
So Lauren, thank you again for recording this. This was so much fun.
I had a great time. Thanks.
Oh, it was a lot.
Phil.
Yeah, and I always like to. I want to give you your plug and let people know where to find you when you're kind of corner of the internet. And I know it's not Disney related, but you do help a lot of people. So please let everybody know where they can find you.
Oh, thanks. So I have a test prep company. I help with ACT and SAT prep. So for college-bound high school students, that's what I do. You can find that at higherscorestestprep.com. And if you are an entrepreneur and you are looking at the business and going, well, this isn't all the glitz and glam I thought it was going to be, I have a podcast called The Unsexy Side. So that has been on hiatus a while, but it's coming back, and you can find it on iTunes, or you can come over to laurengagioli.com and find it there. And
you've also correct me if I'm wrong. Have you gotten perfect scores on the SAT and the ACT? Or am I crazy?
Not perfect, but pretty darn close. So
yeah,
I still take
take it for fun.
Yeah, well, fun. Yeah, well, I'm sick, obviously. So
we're six.
We're six. If I could get a perfect score as a 6-year-old, then you know what?
Then you would not need your services.
I wouldn't need me. Yeah, no, I've gotten a 1580 on the SAT.
That's insane.
And a 35 out of 36 on the ACT.
So this is seriously the person that your children need to learn from, because I my kids are very young.
They are a long way off.
Yeah, but if you're still in the business when they come around to taking those tests, man, they'll definitely be using you. So, all right, Lawrence, thank you again. And yeah, we're going to do this again sooner than 6 months, but probably not as soon as 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
All right, bye-bye. And that is going to do it for this special edition episode of the Ear to There podcast. Thank you once again to my awesome guest, Lauren Gagioli. It's always so much fun to have Lauren on because she is as big of a Disney nerd as I am, and her opinions are always wrong, like I said. No, I'm kidding. Having Lauren on is always fun, is always a great time. She always brings some really interesting, awesome conversation. So thank you again to Lauren for coming on this week. And thank you for listening. As always, this is a very cool, very special edition of the show. So thank you for giving up some time this week, some extra time this week to spend with me. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, all I ask is, well, I have actually kind of a bigger favor to ask of you this week. I just want you to subscribe and to rate and to review the show in iTunes. And I've made it really easy for you to do it. So go to eartotheretravel.com/iTunes. And there is a step-by-step tutorial right there that'll help walk you through that process. You can subscribe to the show so you automatically get it each and every week. Well, you'll get a couple episodes each and every week. And it will also show you how to leave an honest rating and an honest review for the show. I'd really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much in advance for that. All right, so thank you again so much for listening. And just remember, there will be a new episode of the Ear to There podcast each and every Monday morning, as well as a new episode of the Ear to There podcast, Walt Disney World Word of the Week. That'll be each and every Wednesday morning. So until next time, thank you again so much for listening. Have a phenomenal week, a phenomenal weekend, and a great day. Bye-bye.